Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. It is 8:31 a.m. and we cross over to the Holy Lands. We'll be talking with multi-award winning journalist and media personality and also one of the Salam Media family members. He does a show here, a techno talk show. I think it's on a Sunday evening. So lovely talking to you, Faisel Patel. Assalamu alaikum. And I must say that I'm green with envy when, alhamdulillah, I hear about the fact that you're still in MENA and you're going to tell us what your next steps are. We are, talking to you today for you to share with us the announcement by Saudi Arabia suggesting that, alhamdulillah, this was in fact a very successful Hajj. So, your take on the situation? Hajj is officially over. Am I right?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you, Sister Julie, and to the Salam Media listeners, and to all the staff and my colleagues at the radio station. Yeah, Hajj is basically over. Yesterday was the third day of belting. This morning was the optional fourth day of belting. It is not compulsory, but if you wanted to go, there is additional reward. Most of the Hujjaj, including myself, will now make ourselves back to Makkah al-Mukarramah or to the Haram, where inshallah we will do a Tawaf al-Wida, which is the farewell Tawaf. So I delayed mine until this evening. I didn't go yesterday because the Haram was exceptionally full, and it will take longer for you, obviously, to complete the Tawaf, and it was just absolutely packed. Even in our hotel, droves of people actually left, the city, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, back for their homes. So, Alhamdulillah, Hajj is officially over, but we were trying to savor the last few moments of Makkah al-Mukarramah before we
Alhamdulillah.
actually go home, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. I understand that Saudi Arabia has announced this to be a safe and a successful Hajj, bearing in mind that they did pick up on about 35 odd COVID cases. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, well, you're not going to eliminate COVID completely. That's unfortunate. A lot of people, most of the people, I would say at least two-thirds or even three-quarters not wearing masks. I myself didn't wear a mask because you believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be protecting you while you're here. But, there are people that probably getting symptoms or maybe picked up symptoms later. But compared to the million people that are here, 35 is a very, very small number. So yeah, no major incidents. A very successful Hajj, inshallah, and I hope this is basically a test phase. Remember, the last time we had a fully fledged Hajj was in 2019, so this is basically a test phase for next year, inshallah, where we
Ameen.
make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the kingdom allows more people to come for Hajj, especially South Africans who have been messaging me. I mean, just left, right, and center. We only got 1,123 people that have been here for Hajj, besides those that have come as mujamlas or as guests of the embassy. Compare that to the 16,000 waiting list currently in South Africa. I just hope, inshallah, that we get a lot more, and we come back to the precedent of 3 to 4 million that used to come for Hajj every year.
Inshallah, from your lips to Allah's ears. So it was a relatively smooth sailing Hajj. People would suggest, even though that the kingdom has announced it was a safe and a successful Hajj, but that could be attributed to the fact that there were under 1 million people there. That would obviously, be one of the factors in being such a safe and an easy going Hajj. Your thoughts?
No, absolutely not. I think the number has nothing to do with it. We've seen the previous years, besides 2019, when the crane collapsed in the Haram. I was there, I actually reported on that. The stampede that happened in Mina, where I think over 800 people died, I also reported on that. But prior to that, I went for Hajj in my first Hajj in 2009. And that time, South Africans were allowed a total of about 7,000 Hujjaj to go for Hajj. There were approximately 3.5 to 4 million people, and that particular incident, Hajj went incident free. So they used to handling the numbers. Um, it doesn't really matter whether it's a million, 2 million. I think the Saudi authorities have got capabilities. They know how to deal with the crowd congestion. There were times when I went to the Haram, especially when I performed my Tawaf and Ziyarah, where the Haram was packed to the brim. And, the guards would adequately use these little cones or these barriers to redirect traffic or, people into the direction they wanted to go. Yesterday I went to Pelt, the Chamarat, my third time, and there was clearly a coordination from the Saudi authorities which way is into the Jamarat and which way is the exit to the Jamarat. If you multiply that by three, I think they adequately equipped each other to deal with this. And there are enough volunteers and enough authorities, enough officials, police to assist wherever they can. One of the things that I've been struggling with is obviously the heat. It's absolutely hot here, especially during pelting, 41, 42 degrees. And whenever I stopped to gather my breath or to take a rest, a Saudi official would always come and offer me water or throw water over my head to cool me down. So they've been absolutely phenomenal, and I think that this is just a test phase again. There were bigger numbers. They had successful Hajjs before, so the million is not basically an indication that the Hajj was successful because of that number.
Okay, Faisal, I do know, Alhamdulillah, that you suffered COVID whilst you were in South Africa a while ago. You're probably suffering from something called long COVID. I'm not sure. I'm just suggesting that
Yes, yes.
because you have indicated in a previous interview that we've had that you found it a bit difficult in terms of energy levels, etc. How challenging was that situation for you? Because it's a real situation. Yours was a situation around COVID. But when I was watching the Hajj footage on another channel, I also saw lots of people in wheelchairs. And I could imagine they had challenges of their own as well. And people with other illnesses, which were not necessarily very obvious or manifest. So talk to us about those type of challenges whilst on Hajj.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can't speak on behalf of everybody else, but I'm speaking from my personal experience. I've been on three Hajj before, and all three Hajjas have been a breeze. When I'm saying I could walk anywhere between 5 and 10 kilometers without even
Wow.
taking a break, it was absolutely Alhamdulillah. But this time, I mean, with the long COVID, as you mentioned, it is a long COVID. It's been an extreme challenge. I mean, very, very difficult for me. Um, the Hujjaj that come next year must be prepared to walk anywhere between 3 and 5 kilometers. You must be able to do that. But the thing I realize is that you have to do it at your own pace. You might be in a group. I broke away from my group. I didn't want to sort of bog them down, and I went on myself. It took me a little bit longer, but it is a real struggle. To give you an idea, I wanted to take a bus from Muzdalifah to Mina and then go Pelt. And unfortunately, there were no buses, and I thought to myself, if I don't do this now, I'm never gonna get a bus. And I started walking, and the whole day, when I eventually got back to my hotel, I walked a total of almost 16 kilometers.
Oh,
Obviously, I was totally tired. I had to stop various places along the way, and I must admit there were a lot of um, camps from non-African countries who allowed me to go into the camp to rest, give me water,
wow.
whatever it is. So there are serious challenges. The challenges that I faced was extreme shortness of breath. I had to stop, after about a kilometer, take a break, drink some water, carry on, and then move on from there. So even the last 2 days of pelting, walking just about 3 kilometers, yesterday walking 5 kilometers was a real challenge. It took me probably half an hour extra. So you'll stop along the way, get a Pepsi or something that boosts your energy level. I didn't want to do a wheelchair. I could have. I didn't want to because I performed this Hajj for my mother, and the struggles that she went
Oh,
through for us.
Subhanallah,
Yeah.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah.
So the struggle she went through for us, the little struggle that I went through, is just a small part of the struggle she went for us. So I said to myself, I don't want a wheelchair. I want to do it myself, even if it takes me 10 hours to walk 3.5 kilometers. So that's one of the things the Saudi authorities have said that, and that's why they've deterred, elderly people, especially people over 65, from actually coming from Hajj. It's not their choice. Allah invites you, so you can be 65
Absolutely.
and you'll still go for Hajj. But for those that are coming, I have to admit, that if you had symptoms of COVID and you got the long COVID and you find it difficult to walk, there are challenges. There are wheelchairs, especially even for Remy, the belting, but they are quite expensive, anywhere between 100 and 200 reals, and then you still have to walk to the bus and that sort of stuff. So, Alhamdulillah, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's I managed to overcome these challenges, and my Hajj is now complete after yesterday's pelting, and it's just the Tawaf Arena that's left. But like I said, it's becoming challenging. The heat is not easy. I got precedent from Mullah Suleiman Mullah yesterday, and advice from Mullah Ibrahim Bab as well. They said I could perform my last pelting at Maghrib time or just after Maghrib when it's cooler. So that's when I went. So the sun wasn't, bearing down on you and sapping your energy up.
And I should imagine that was because of your health condition. Uh,
Yes.
Amin, Thumma Amin, that's really wonderful. And what you've shared with us just now, is so important for future Hujjaj, for them to bear in mind that these are the type of challenges you would have. And I'm pretty emotional to hear that under your current conditions with long COVID, you still went ahead and you have performed Hajj on behalf of your dear mother. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept the Hajj,
I
inshallah.
mean,
Uh, Faisal, being a journalist, undoubtedly you have been doing a lot of um, your own inquiries regarding future Hajj, etc. What are you hearing in terms of possible numbers for next year? We've also had lots of reports about just how expensive Hajj has been this year, and there's been various reasons for why the costs have possibly doubled or even quadrupled this time around. Your sense on the high costs of Hajj?
yeah, coming on to your first part of the question with regards to future numbers, fortunately, we've had contact with a representative from, or I've had contact with a representative from the religious attaché, not religious, a religious ministry at the hotel. His name is Hassan Al Sahli. He actually came to visit us to see how we were doing, and I managed to inquire, about future Hajjs. They wanted to see the comfort level. Now, I don't mean
Ah,
luxurious comfort, but the comfort level to which Hujjaj are actually experiencing the Hajj. He wanted me and he was sort of harping, please send me pictures, please send me pictures. And the pictures I've sent, and I'm not doing that because to appease him in any way, but just to show that we are content. Obviously, there's going to be challenges at the camps, a
of
lot more
course.
people, the toilet facilities maybe will not be up to standard to a certain people, but these are the sacrifices. Hajj is about sacrifices that you have to make. That's what the consular general told me in a WhatsApp voice message, which I wrote the story for the citizen yesterday, that on the 18th of July is Nelson Mandela Day. And Nelson Mandela made sacrifices. As a Haji, you yourself need to make sacrifices
Mm.
when you come for Hajj. So, inshallah, hopefully we can increase the numbers. That's number one. And coming on to your
Amen.
second part of the question, look, it is expensive, right? To give you an idea, I'm not going to mention the company. There are special services in different camps, especially in Mina, where the walk to the Jamarat is only 300 meters, which is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you come out of your tent, walk up the hill, and you into the Jamarat, walk down hill, you back into your listing. But those are anywhere between 50 and 88,000 rand just for 5 days, besides
Okay.
your stay in Makkah and Medina. You look at a total package of at least on that one about 200, 250,000, and I stand corrected. The package that we came on the Mujamla visas was around 145, 150,000 rand. Now, some people have said that Hajj is for the rich. Now, I do believe that you need to also play your part and save up money to go for Hajj, whether it takes you 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years. But that invitation comes exclusively from from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'm going to use
Absolutely.
this as an example. When myself and my wife Amara went for Hajj in 2009, we had got our 13th checks in 2009. We went for Hajj in 2010. Um, and what happened was we had no money in December, and the first flight out of South Africa was in October 2010, and we decided to go for a comfortable Hajj. Special services was cheaper that time. Stay in a hotel close to the Haram, and we said, my wife was telling me, "Are you crazy? How are we going to save so much money in just a matter of 10 months?" But I can tell you that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you in His land and wants you in the Holy Lands, the barakah is just infinite. We saved,
Ameen.
saved, saved. And the time October came and we were supposed to catch our flight, we didn't only have enough for the tickets and everything, but we also had enough for spending as well. So no,
Alhamdulillah.
no travel agent, no Saudi authority, not the king, not the crown prince, nobody can stop you from coming from Hajj. If Allah wants you to be here, you'll be here. If Allah wants to give you barakah in the money that you're saving every month, then it will give you the barakah. But it's up to you to make that first and initial niyyah to say, oh Allah, I want to come for Hajj. Make it easy for me to come for Hajj. Make it easy for me to save and accept my niyyah, inshallah. And you take it from there.
Ameen. Amin thumma Amin. We've got about a minute to wrap up time, Faisal. Tell us altogether, Alhamdulillah, it's been a very successful Hajj, not only for you, but for all the Hujjaj. Talk to us about when you're coming home. I understand you are going to visit the Mubarak land of our beloved Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Yes, absolutely. Unfortunately, the stay is very short, so we here in Mecca until the 15th, and I'm counting 15th of Dhul Hijjah. Uh, I think it will be the 16th of South African date or the 15th of South African date. So we leave here on the 15th of Dhul Hijjah. We were initially supposed to take a bus, but the ride from Mecca to Medina is about 8 hours, and we don't want to spend that 8 hours in the bus. We want to get to Medina as quickly as possible to reap, as you say, the benefit of Medina. So myself and my colleagues, prior to the interview this morning, were discussing of taking the Haramain rail. And that will take us around 2 hours to get to Medina.
Mm,
So we'll have about a day and a half to spend in Medina,
Inshallah.
get acquainted, and then spend the whole day of Jummah in Medina right up until Isha time. Then we have to pick up quickly and then obviously go to the airport and take our flight back. Inshallah, we will be landing at OR Tambo International Airport on the morning of the 18th at around 4:30 in the morning. So it's a very early flight. But Alhamdulillah, at least we get to spend some time in Medina, and hopefully Medina will be empty, so we can actually spend some time in Rauda Mubarak and pass on the salams and
Inshallah.
salutations on behalf of all South Africans to our beloved Nabi.
Absolutely. You just took the words out of my mouth. Please pass on our salams to our beloved Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Keep us all in your du'as. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring you home safely to your loved ones. Thank you indeed for talking to us, and assalamu alaikum to you.
Walaikum salam. Jazakallah for the opportunity, Julie, and salam to the listeners of Salam Media and my colleagues who've been very supportive during this time.
Always nice talking to you. Go well, keep safe. That was Brother Faisal Patel. He's a multi-award-winning journalist and a media personality. The time is exactly 8:49, and we are going to be talking with Qari Ziad Patel in a minute or two. He's from Al Imdad Foundation, so please stay with us.